We're going to talk about planting corn. It's spring, it's April, so we're already been planting for about a week. We're going to look at what it takes to make a corn crop. Of course, you start out in the spring with the planter, and that's what we're going to look at today. There's a lot of technology that goes into making a crop these days, as far as the seed, the equipment that you use, all of the different technologies. What we're going to look at today is the planter, and this system is called a CCS. It's an air planter. It distributes seed from being in the tank with air pressure down these tubes. Comes to a little meter, meters the seed out to each row. It's got a plate in it. It's got 40 different cells. An air vacuum keeps the seed to each little cell. The plant, then it comes around and drops each seed as we want it placed in the ground. With this system, we have not only the seed placement, but we also place fertilizer in the ground. That fertilizer comes from a tank on the front of the tractor and distributes fertilizer not only beside the row, but in the middle also underneath the seed. The system that we actually use is we plant the corn both conventionally and no-till. And today we're planting a no-till field where the planter has what's called a coulter at the front and a row cleaner, and it makes a path in the no-till ground where we haven't worked the ground, we haven't disked it, we hadn't prepared it in any other way other than running a furrow to irrigate down. This is irrigated corn, so we actually establish that furrow from the year before, and then we just actually make a furrow to irrigate in. The planter, from the row cleaner to the coulter to the disc openers to the press wheels to applying fertilizer to closing the trench, is the system that we use in a no-till system. We're going to show you how that seed is placed in the ground at a specific depth to get the plant established the way you want it to for the growing season. As you can tell, this field is a no-till field. It was in soybeans last year. We rotate it back to corn as a rotation between the two crops. And we was talking about seed placement. As you can see here, when I was showing you on the disc itself, it's the planter plate and how the seed is placed. For a population in this field of 34,000 seed that you would plant in an acre, we're planting them approximately 6 inches apart at approximate depth of about 2 inches. Okay, each one of these seed will make a plant that will produce an ear on it, and that ear has anywhere from 500 to 600 kernels on an ear of corn. Okay, and this is field corn that we're planting, so that placement is very precise. If you get if that placement is out of line, then that plant will struggle to make an ear like the rest of them. So that's very important in what we was talking about on the actual seed meter that's in the planter, and how that distributes the seed into the ground. And that placement also shows that very important part of making that preparation through the coulter and the seed and the double disc openers in a certain depth to apply the fertilizer, keep the seed in a certain depth through the field. We have a seed firmer, and then the closing wheels on the back that actually press the ground together so that you get a proper stand. This is the seed corn that we plant. You can see it's a different color. Different companies may have a different color treatment that's on the corn. That treatment that you see on there, that corn would be yellow corn like you would normally see, but it has a seed treatment on it. That treatment helps the plant grow when it's young as a seedling, to be able to keep it from getting a seedling disease, what we call it, when the plant is small. So that's the seed treatment that you see on there. This corn is field corn. It's not what you eat as a sweet corn that you eat off the cob. This corn's actually used for many different uses, from animal feed to fuel to just a whole variety of things that we'll talk about later. But we're talking about the planter and how the planter distributes the seed from the seed tank through the tubes and out in each row, and we're going to show you how that happens and how the fertilizer actually comes out also. Then the fertilizer that we're putting out is a liquid fertilizer. It's called a starter fertilizer. It comes out in 3 different places. We have in furrow that's actually under the seed in front. Then we have what's called a tuba-two that is placed on each side of the row. This is what's called a starter fertilizer, and it actually helps the little seedling start to grow. And this supplies its fertilizer right to its roots within the first few weeks after planting, and that helps the plant establish its root system and grow probably a foot tall, and being able to where it gets its root systems out to get the other nutrients that's in the soil naturally, and what we apply as a granular fertilizer helps that root system to be established. So it's very important.
So we're going to get lined back up with our auto track and let the planter down. Turn on your fertilizer. So this is each individual row, and this is how many it's planting. So we're shooting for 35,000 in an acre, and it'll all level out here in a minute once we get to going really good. And up here it shows it as well. So these are also the rows, each row, and you can click on one and go to an individual one, and it'll show you exactly how many seeds are being put out. And so it's doing really good because up here the singulation is 99.4. So it's almost 100. So that's pretty good. And it's planting 34,000, almost 35,000. So you can click over to each row. So as we're going through the field, all the green right here, it shows that's planting close to 35,000. So it's planting 34.9. And the yellow is where it's planting a little less, but it's okay. So I have auto track right here. So we will put in a line. So you'll have the latitude and longitude coordinates, and you'll put that in exactly from where somebody bedded it. However many years ago this was bedded, probably at least 4 or 5, maybe more. And so we'll put that in, and it'll line up exactly on those beds and plant exactly where the corn was 2 years ago, exactly where the beans were last year. And then all you have to do is press auto track, and it'll immediately line up and turn your wheels for you and everything. And all you have to do at the end is slow down and turn around. So we're going 5.5 miles an hour right now, and we can go, I mean, that doesn't seem fast, but we can go that fast now because we have this good ride on here and the new stuff on the toolbar, and it allows us to go a little bit faster, not as fast as like a speed planner, but comparatively to the last couple of years, I've been going like 4.5, and that's really slow. And so when we get to the beans, I'm really thankful because I can go like 6 miles an hour. But it really does make a difference whenever in 1 mile an hour. Okay, so we're planting 35,000 seeds an acre. So we'll put that in. And then times, we're in an 80 acre field, so times 80. And then it'll take us 4 hours to plant because it shows that we're planting around 20 acres an hour. So then we'll divide that by 4 because it'll take us 4 hours to do 80 acres. So then you're planting 700,000 seeds an hour. So that's a lot. Okay, so I was talking about the latitude and longitude that we put in earlier, and that's connected to this RTK globe that we have, and it's up there on the top of the tractor, and it is basically like GPS, and you just type in those coordinates and it connects it to that, and it bounces off of a server and puts you exactly where you need to be. Tractors, pretty well all of our tractors nowadays have all of these globes, and you can put all those coordinates in. And then our monitors, this is our whole monitor, and all of our tractors have their own monitors, and they have all of the lines in here that each tractor has every single line that this one has. So it has all of our fields. Let's see. Well, I can't do it right now because...
Yeah, that's fine.
Oh, well, here's all of our fields. And if I was to press on one, I can't press on it because we're going.
Yeah.
But if I was to press on it, it has the individual line, specific line for that field, and it connects to each different tractor that we have. So that's really cool, and it's really helpful and easy when everything goes correct.